At the far edge of our solar system, far beyond the orbit of Neptune, there is a frozen world drifting in darkness. A place where sunlight is almost gone, where temperatures drop lower than anywhere on Earth. A world so strange that scientists still struggle to understand it. This is Pluto. For decades, Pluto was one of the greatest mysteries in space, a lonely object billions of kilometers away from the Sun, too small to be a planet, too complex to be just a frozen rock. But when scientists finally saw Pluto up close, everything changed. A planet that lost its title. Pluto was discovered in 1930 by astronomer Clyde Tombaugh. For many years, it was proudly called the ninth planet of our solar system. Students learned its name in school. Books listed it alongside the other planets. But in 2006, a controversial decision shocked the world. Scientists at the International Astronomical Union changed Pluto's status. They officially reclassified it as a dwarf planet. To many people, it felt like Pluto had been demoted, but the truth is, Pluto was about to become far more interesting than anyone imagined. The dark edge of the solar system. Pluto lives in a distant region called the Kuiper Belt. This is a massive ring of icy objects beyond Neptune. Millions of frozen worlds drift there, leftover debris from the birth of our solar system. But Pluto is the largest and most mysterious of them all. It sits nearly 6 billion kilometers from the Sun. At that distance, sunlight becomes incredibly weak. In fact, the Sun on Pluto would look less like a blazing star and more like a bright point of light in the sky. Imagine standing on Pluto's surface. The sky would appear dark even during the day. Shadows would be long and faint, and the temperature would drop to around minus 230 degrees Celsius, cold enough to freeze nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide solid. But Pluto's strange story doesn't end with the cold. In fact, that's just the beginning. The mission that changed everything. For decades, Pluto was nothing more than a blurry dot in telescopes. No one knew what its surface looked like. No one knew if it had mountains, valleys, or anything at all. Then, in 2006, NASA launched a spacecraft called New Horizons. Its mission was simple: travel across the solar system and explore Pluto for the first time. The journey took 9 long years, nearly 5 billion kilometers in space. Finally, in July 2015, New Horizons arrived, and what it discovered shocked scientists around the world. World that should be dead, but isn't. Scientists once believed Pluto was a frozen, lifeless rock, but the images from New Horizons revealed something completely unexpected. Pluto was not dead at all. Instead, it was full of dramatic landscapes, towering mountains made of solid water ice, some of them reaching heights of more than 3 kilometers. There were vast frozen plains stretching across the surface and enormous glaciers slowly flowing across the land. But these glaciers were not made of water. They were made of nitrogen ice. Yes, on Pluto, nitrogen behaves like ice and slowly flows across the surface like a frozen river, a strange phenomenon never seen anywhere else in the solar system. The giant heart of Pluto. One of the most famous discoveries on Pluto is a massive heart-shaped region. Scientists named it Sputnik Planitia. At first glance, it looks beautiful. A giant, smooth plain of bright ice stretching for thousands of kilometers. But this frozen heart hides a deeper mystery. Sputnik Planitia is actually a giant basin formed by a massive impact billions of years ago. Over time, it filled with frozen nitrogen ice, and today, that ice slowly moves and circulates like a giant frozen ocean, meaning Pluto may still be geologically active. A frozen world that is somehow still changing. The strange dance with Charon. But Pluto has another strange secret. It has a giant moon called Charon. Charon is enormous compared to Pluto. In fact, it's about half the size of Pluto itself. This creates something very unusual. Instead of Charon simply orbiting Pluto, both worlds actually orbit each other. Scientists call this a binary system. Imagine standing on Pluto's surface. Charon would appear huge in the sky, nearly half the size of our moon. And because of gravitational locking, Charon would never move across the sky. It would remain frozen in the same place forever. A silent companion watching Pluto in the darkness. Pluto's thin, frozen atmosphere. Despite its freezing temperatures, Pluto actually has an atmosphere, but it's extremely thin, made mostly of nitrogen gas. As Pluto moves closer to the Sun during its orbit, some of the frozen nitrogen on the surface begins to evaporate, creating a temporary atmosphere around the planet. But when Pluto drifts farther away, the atmosphere slowly freezes again and falls back to the ground. Imagine an entire atmosphere snowing down onto the planet. The final mystery. So, Pluto may be small, and it may no longer be called a planet, but it remains one of the strangest and most fascinating worlds ever discovered. A frozen landscape of ice mountains, moving glaciers, and endless darkness. A place that reminds us how mysterious the universe truly is. Because even in our own solar system, there are still worlds we barely understand. And somewhere out there, far beyond Pluto, there may be even stranger planets waiting to be discovered. But that is a mystery for another journey into the dark universe.